Kamusta kayong lahat? I'm glad that you are following our lessons and have submitted your answer sheets on time. Very good. Today is another interesting lesson we will have, a challenging task that each of you will experience. So, gusto mo nang malaman kung ano yon? Let's begin. We are now in Module 6 of Quarter 1 with the topic Evaluation in Action. Most essential learning competency: evaluate and make judgments about a range of texts using set of criteria. Example, comparing arguments on the same topic, critiquing a short story. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to evaluate and make judgments about a range of texts using set of criteria. Example, comparing arguments on the same topic and critiquing a short story. Specifically, this module will help you to demonstrate understanding of the text read by doing the given activities. Also, familiarize oneself with the criteria for evaluating various types of text and evaluate various text types through an established set of criteria. Okay, let's do first the pretest. Directions: read the questions carefully and then circle or choose the letter of the correct answer, then write it on your answer sheet. Number 1, which of the following is not a characteristic of a good reading text? A. The author presents a clear argument supported by reliable evidences. B. The author achieves his purpose in writing the text. C. The writing style is not appropriate to the intended readers. Or D. The text is not biased and based on the author's personal view. Okay, for number 1, the answer is letter C. Question number 2, why do we need a set of criteria when evaluating a text? A. To avoid biases and to make a reliable critical evaluation of text. B. To construct a new reading text that is timely. C. To draw conclusion that is incoherent with the text. Or letter D. To be familiarized with the different types of text. Okay, for this, the answer is letter A. Number 3, what is meant by evaluation or judgment of a text? A. Identifying the strengths and weaknesses of a text. B. Looking for the possible outcomes of a text. C. Drawing conclusions of a reading text. Or D. Introducing a text by evaluation. Alright, for number 3, the answer is letter A. Number 4, which is true about evaluating a text? A. The author's writing style should suit the intended audience. B. The length of the reading material is always considered. C. The language used affects evaluation. Or letter D. Mechanics is not significant in evaluating text. For this, the answer is letter A. Question number 5. Which of the following should be considered in determining literary value? A. The written work entertains readers. B. The piece of encourages decision-making. C. The text explores great themes in human and nature and human experiences. Or letter D. The piece includes examples about the topic discussed. Alright, the answer is letter C. Okay, write your score over 5. Reminder, pretest score is not being recorded and won't affect your total score in every module. This is done just to test your prior knowledge about the lesson, right? In the previous lesson, you were able to learn and employ the skills of listening analytically to solve problems. You encountered challenging yet interesting activities. Which of those is your favorite? Write it, then explain briefly why is it your favorite. Nasubukan mo na bang manood ng contest like singing or dance contests sa TV, internet, or live? Or nakasali ka na ba sa mga competition or contest sa school? I bet most of you will answer yes. Watch this.
And now we proceed to the reading of criteria for judging.
And I'm sure, and I guess you are also sure, Julius,
Absolutely, Lizelle, that our candidates want to know how they will be judged accordingly. So, the official criteria for judging for the Mr. and Miss Grand PSU 2019 are as follows.
we have closed door interview, which happened last week. We have 25%. Hollywood attire costume, 25%.
For the swimwear, we have 25%. And for the formal wear, we have 25% for the total of 100%.
You're very good in that, partner. Our Hollywood attire costume consists of the following criteria. Beauty of face, 50%. Stage projection or presence, 30%. Overall impact, 20% for a total of 100%.
For the swimwear, the criteria are beauty and face, stage projection and presence, overall impact, for a total of 100%.
Yes, and for the formal wear competition, we also have this criteria. Beauty of face, 50%. Stage projection and presence, 30%. Overall impact, 20% for a total of 100%.
What activity was going on the video? Correct. There's a contest or pageant going on. And the MCs or hosts were announcing or informing the audience about how winners are to be chosen. What the judges need to consider in choosing a winner? Well, that is using the criteria or set of criteria. What do we mean by criteria, by the way? Criteria is the plural form of the noun criterion, which means a principle, a basis, or standard by which something may be judged or decided. In Filipino, we call it pamantayan. On the other hand, when we say evaluation, this is the making of judgment or assessment about anything. So in Filipino, this is paghuhusga. In continuation, it's not only stage performances that we evaluate. We also do evaluation on movie that we have watched, which sometimes we call movie review. We also do evaluation on the things that students have learned in school. We call it quiz or exercise, summative test or periodic test. And we also evaluate a reading or a written text like a story or an essay. But how do we do that? Let's take a look of some of the characteristics of a good reading text. The first is the author of the text should have presented a clear argument supported by reliable evidences. So there should at least fact statements na galing sa isang mapagkakatiwalaang source plus evidences. Next, a good reading text should also achieve its purpose. Bakit ba ito isinulat ng writer? Para ano? If you are the one reading it, will you be able to get or feel that purpose? Another is a good reading text should always have the appropriate intention or should always appropriate to the intended readers. Appropriate when it comes to style, how it was written, or how it will be written, including the words used in it, should be based on age, gender, culture, or race para pasok na maiintindihan ng readers yung mga binabasa. Then, a good reading text also should not bias and based on the author's personal view. It should have written both the negative and positive points and based on how the author looked at it. So those are the characteristics of a good reading text. Now let's proceed with evaluating a text. Evaluating a text can be a difficult task if done without a set of criteria. Mahirap talagang mag-judge ng isang gawa or performance nang wala tayong sinusundang pamantayan. That is why it is important to use a set of criteria when doing an evaluation. But why do we need to evaluate a text and use this criteria? One reason is to know the strengths and weaknesses of a reading text. In evaluating a text, the author's writing style should suit the intended audience as well. In evaluation, there should also consideration about determining the literary value. Literary value shows how a literature or a piece of text explores great themes in human and nature and human experiences. Nagpapakita ba ang text ng mga pagpapahalaga o kahalagahan ng buhay o kapaligiran o di kaya ng mga karanasan na maaaring makaapekto sa isang nagbabasa nito? Also, the purpose of establishing a set of criteria, why there should be a set of criteria is to help us make decisions, judgments, and develop ideas about a certain issue or topic to avoid biases. Now, let's talk about this criteria in evaluating a text. The following are some of the criteria that can be useful in evaluating a text and preparing a critical review. The first in criteria is the significance and contribution of the text. In this criteria, para makita mo yung significance and contribution of the text, just answer these questions. What is the author's aim or purpose in writing the text? Did the author achieve his aim or purpose? What does this text contribute to the body of knowledge? And what is lacking or not stated in the text? Next criteria na titignan natin sa isang text or reading material is the argument and use of evidence or comparing of arguments. So for this criteria, need ng text na sagutin ang mga questions na to. Does the text present a clear problem, statement, or hypothesis? What are the claims made? Is the argument consistent and relevant? What evidences do the text present? Are the evidences reliable? Does the text present two or more arguments? Or are they related to each other? And also, how effective are the evidence in supporting the arguments presented? Another criteria that we need to look at is the writing style and text structure. So to check this criteria, here are some guide questions. Thus, the writing style can be easily understood by the intended readers or audiences. Does it contain any grammatical error? Or could the text be better organized? So there you have it, the different criteria in evaluating a text. Now it's activity time. The first activity is you will be the judge. There is a text, a short story that you will read. So after reading, you will evaluate that text using the set of criteria. And the title of the text is The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. And here is a set of criteria that you need to evaluate. So that includes the setting, conflict, dialogue, creativity, characters, resolution, organization, and mechanics. After reading, evaluate the text by rating the criteria given. So put a check across the box with a description that corresponds to your evaluation of each criterion. Then, total the score or result of your evaluation. Now, let's have the reading text or the story. Did you like the story? Now take time to answer the following questions. Remember, evaluating a text using a set of criteria helps you to know the strengths and weaknesses of a reading text. It helps you to identify the significance of the author's aim and how the aim has been achieved, and it also guides you to make decisions, judgments, and develop ideas about a certain issue or topic to avoid biases. It's time to check your understanding about our topic for today. Write A if you agree to the statement, and D if you disagree. Number 1. It is necessary to know the author's aims before reading a text. Number 2. Literary work creates vivid impressions of characters and settings that many generations of readers can treasure. Number 3. Authors' writing styles should be standard so that their works are easier to understand. And number 4. Text should always be entertaining yet informative. Last, number 5, a good short story explores themes that people can identify with. Now let's have the post-test. Read the questions carefully and encircle or write the letter of the correct answer. Now take time to reflect. Congratulations! You have just finished your Week 6 module in English. Thank you for your participation and enthusiasm in answering this week's learning module. Keep it up! If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. See you next lesson!